بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فصل في النفاس. This section is in Nifas. Nifas is postpartum discharge. The blood a woman, alaykum salam, when having a baby sees is called Nifas. That blood. والنفاس كالحيض is like حيض في منعه concerning what is prevented by it. Haid is the blood that woman sees on a monthly basis, the woman's cycle period. So whatever haid prevented a woman from doing, nifas does prevent a woman from doing too. We learned in the previous section that it was not permissible for a menstruating woman, a woman in haid, to pray, fast, or perform tawaf, to touch a copy of the Quran, or enter a masjid. Because prayer, as the Prophet ﷺ told us, cannot be performed without wudu, without purity of one's body. And a person in this situation has impurity in her body. Likewise, Saum is prevented, is not permissible for them, because the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, أَلَيْسَ إِذَا حَاضَتِ الْمَرْأَةُ لَمْ تُصَلِّ وَلَمْ تَصُمْ. We know from this hadith that when a woman sees her menses, does not pray, nor does she fast. She cannot either pray or fast. Wala tawaf, because circling, making tawaf of the Kaaba, as the Prophet ﷺ told us, is like prayer. But it is permitted it is permissible for one to talk while making tawaf of the Kaaba. But the Prophet ﷺ says one should only say that which is good while making tawaf, such as dua and dhikr. And he told us in the previous section that the person who sees her menses does make up the missed days of fasting, but will not make up the missed days of prayer, because fasting the month of Ramadan occurs only once during the year, but prayer is something to be done every day. So if it is required for one who sees her menses to make them up, it becomes difficult, and this deen is not a difficult religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He wants it easy for us. And this is from a hadith of Aisha. Aisha said, we used to see our menses, and the Prophet ﷺ would command us to make up our missed days of fast and not our missed days of prayer. So likewise, the woman who has a baby and she is post-birth blood also does not make up her missed prayer, but she has to make up her missed days of fast. وَلَا مَسُّ مُصْحَفٍ وَلَا دُخُولُ مَسْجِدٍ. It is also forbidden for her to touch a copy of the Quran or enter a masjid, because the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تمس القرآن إلا وأنت طاهر. Do not touch the copy of the Quran except if you are instead of tahara, of purity. And فَإِنِّي لَا أَحِلُّ الْمَسْجِدَ لِحَائِضٍ وَلَا جُنُبٍ tells us that the person who has her periods cannot enter the masjid. Likewise, the person who sees her menses. So everything that was forbidden was not permissible for a person instead of hayd is not permissible for the person instead of nifas. The husband, he told us that her husband cannot have affair with her while seeing her menses. Likewise, the person whose state of nifas cannot be with her husband, meaning they cannot have intercourse. As Allah said in the Quran, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ قُلْ هُوَ أَذًى فَاعْتَزِلُوا النِّسَاءَ فِي الْمَحِيضِ. So he said, rahmatullahi alayh, that nifas is like hayd concerning whatever hayd prevents from doing. وَأَكْثَرُهُ سِتُّونَ يَوْمًا. The most that nifas can be is 60 days. When a woman has a baby, the most the blood can stay to be considered as nifas is 60 days. فإذا انقطع الدم قبلها ولو في يوم الولادة اغتسلت وصلت. If the blood cuts off before that, even if on the day of the birth, then she performs ghusl and prays. Meaning there is no shortest period for it, but there is longest period. The longest period for this blood to be considered as nifas is 60 days, but it can cut off before 60 days. It can cut off 50 days, 40 days. It can take 20 days. It can even cut off the same day the woman has a baby. If it occurs, if it happens, the woman now has to make the bath, full body bath, and prays. فإن انقطع الدم قبلها اغتسلت ولو في يوم الولادة اغتسلت وصلت. فإذا عاودها الدم فإن كان بينهما 15 يوما فأكثر كان الثاني حيضا. If the blood returns and 15 days had gone by, then the second blood is hayd. Meaning the woman has a baby and the blood cuts off. She makes ghusl and starts praying. After 50 days, she sees a new blood coming. She will not consider this blood as being part of the nifas of the post-birth blood. She must consider it as a hayd, as her monthly cycle, her monthly menses. فإذا عاودها الدم فإن كان بينهما 15 يوما فأكثر كان الثاني حيضا وإلا ضم إلى الأول وكان من تمام النفاس. Otherwise, she adds it to the previous days, and it is a completion of her nifas. If she sees blood before 15 days before 15 days have gone by, then this blood is part of the nifas. It's not a hayd. It's part of the very previous blood. Why? Because 15 days is the shortest time of tahara, of a person to be pure, to be in state of purity, of hayd. وإلا ضم إلى الأول وكان من تمام النفاس. So if it is after 15 days, it's a haid. If it is before 15 days, it's a part of the nifas. It's the completion of her nifas. هذا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم.